Hi, good evening. I'd like to welcome you to Poem Praise 2. I do thank you for tuning in, and certainly peace and blessings be upon you this day. Now, we are going to get right back into How to Eat to Live. We're on chapter 13 right now. So, let's go ahead and continue. Oh, from the last vid, have I tried it? All right. Now we're going to get into chapter 13. Yeah, I know it was a question, but I know the answer to the question. But from the previous vid, have I tried it? See, the true question was, try it for yourself. Try it for yourself. Okay. Now, chapter 13, fasting, eating right foods. Keys to long life. And it goes like this. Eat 1 meal a day. Fasting is a greater cure of our ills, both mentally and physically, than all of the drugs of the earth combined into one bottle, or into a billion bottles. Allah, in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, has taught me that fasting and the right kind of food are the cures to our ills. He told me there is no cure in drugs and medicine. And this, the world is now learning. We can take medicine all of our lives until it kills us. But we are still ailing with the same old diseases. The bad food and drinks we are putting in our bodies keeps us a victim to illness. There are not too many nice doctors who will tell you that drugs are not good for you, because they paid for their learning and want to keep practicing. But how to eat to live is what we want to know and have wanted to know all of our lives. Every man or woman wants to know how he or she can prolong his or her life. Nature teaches us to stay here in this life as long as we can. Nature has never taught anyone that he should lead this life and find another one somewhere else, because we only have one life. If this life is destroyed, we would have a hard time trying to get more life. It is impossible. So try to keep this life you have as long as possible. Go when you cannot stay here any longer. Allah taught me that 1 meal a day would keep us here for a long time. We would live over 100 years, and eating 1 meal every 2 days would lengthen our lives just that much longer. He told me you would never be sick. Eating 1 meal every 3 days, the fact that fasting is a cure to 90% of our ills, is known by the medical scientists. But they do not teach you that. They know that Tabasco, I was about to say Tabasco sauce. That's like a hot sauce, but no, that's not the word in the book. They know that tobacco, hard whiskey, and alcohol are not good for you and will shorten your life and kill you. But most of them are too weak themselves to stop drinking or smoking or chewing tobacco. So they do not teach you that tobacco and alcoholic drinks made into what is known as whiskey, beer, and wine are not good for you, although they know it to be true. They will say, yes, it is good for you if you are temperate. But they know that once you get started on that stuff, it is such an enemy that it just takes you into its power, and it's almost like trying to break an iron chain to get away from the habit. So do not use tobacco in any form and you will live a few years longer. Fast once a month for 3 days or 4 days or for whatever length of time you are able to go without food without harming yourself. And you will feel good. Did you know that if you would stop eating pig and the food that you should not eat, stop eating 3 or 4 times a day and stop drinking whiskey, beer, and wine, you would save much in the way of money. In prolonging your life by abstaining from the pig, alcoholic drinks, and tobacco, you also will be adding money to your savings of hundreds and thousands of dollars. You will be depriving those pig raisers and tobacco growers and alcoholic distilleries of millions of dollars that they robbed you of, which hastens you to the grave. You could stop the tobacco growers from growing that stinky weed by turning away from the use of it. And you could stop the pig raising by not eating the stinking hog. These things are death to your children in their early ages. And they even affect the reproductive organs of people in their early ages, as well as affect the heart, the lungs, and your sharpness in thinking. And after all of this, you die a victim of poison and commercialization. Learn to eat to live. Chapter 14, Fasting. There is so much food of various kinds in the earth for us to eat. We can hardly mention by names. We are the wisest of all life on earth and in the heavens above the earth. Almighty God, Allah, in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom praise is due forever, has taught me we must have regularity in everything we do. Since the earth is full of food, this does not mean we should try to eat the food all day long. We should eat 1 meal a day, and when we eat this 1 meal, be sure it is the best food for our bodies to digest and to keep us alive without our lives being agitated by enemies from the food and drinks we put in our bodies. We have to safeguard our health against the enemies of our health by eating 1 meal a day. This gives an enemy, the germ, that may be in our food time to die, to be completely dead at the end of 24 hours. If we keep adding more food, it gives the germ strength and working power to destroy the very delicate and perfect machinery of our bodies. By nature, we are made of the best, and we have to continue to give our bodies the best in a moderate way. Fasting is one of the greatest doctors we have. Fasting is prescribed for us in the Holy Quran and in the Bible. The Bible does not teach us as much of how good fasting is health-wise as the Quran does. The Bible teaches on fasting is mostly spiritual purposes. On one occasion, we find where Moses fasted for the cure of his sister Miriam, who had contracted leprosy because of speaking carelessly of Moses. Her brother Moses then had to seek a cure from God for her. But fasting, as Allah prescribed for us, is to prolong our lives with better health by eating the right food and not eating too frequently. Fasting does much for us. A 3-day fast will tell the story. You'll feel better. Your body begins to feel lighter and not weighty as it felt when it was filled with food. Your thinking is clearer. Let us fast as often as we feel that we have not a desire for food. If you do not desire food, do not eat it. Eat when you are hungry. Of course, this does not apply to the sick because the sick are exempt from fasting. When you fast, it will advance your spirituality. The Holy Quran teaches us that Allah has a mighty reward for the believing men and the believing women, and the fasting men and the fasting women. This does not mean that we can do nothing but fast and still do other evil things and be rewarded with good rewards. When fasting is practiced for good, good results will follow. But if we fast, as the Bible mentions in Isaiah, just for debate, our fast is no good. The Bible teaches that the facts of people who go out and tell others that I had a dream, and then call dreams visions, are not accepted. Some people tell stories about something they accomplished on the fast that they did not accomplish. The Bible answers such a person in these words: if you dream a dream, tell a dream, and do not try to tell a dream from a vision from the Lord when you did not get such a vision. We must remember that we cannot be holier than thou unless we are really holy. So let us say of ourselves what we really are and not what we are not, because it is good in the eyesight of God for us to speak the truth. Fast. It cleans the impurities out of the blood and causes the body to eliminate the poisons stored in it from previous meals. Sometimes from previous meals of many years. As the folds in our intestines can carry particles of food for a long time and holds strength enough in them to keep us alive for 2 months. Our bodies store food in the folds of the intestines and in the bloodstream. After a fast of 3 days, and from that to 9 days, these particles of food and poisons that have accumulated will be eliminated. The blood is being cleansed of its impurities because the impurities have nothing to keep them in power to live. Therefore, they die and leave the person happy and enjoying the results of a healthy body, which is the greatest enjoyment we can have. We are taught, and all religions teach fasting. So that includes us too. Of course, as long as we are in the presence of God, we do not have to fast. But we are not always in His presence. In the hereafter, when all people will receive rewards of goodness who see the hereafter, there will be no fasting. We, the righteous, must fast as long as we are present and among the unrighteous. So fasting is prescribed for us as well as those people before us. Let us take a look at the verse in the Holy Quran, 2:183, translated by Maulana Muhammad Ali, copyright 1963. O you who believe, fasting is prescribed for you, as it was prescribed for those before you, so that you may guard against evil. Here it tells us why fasting is prescribed for us. It guards us against doing evil. Read the footnote of Maulana Muhammad Ali's translation of this chapter for footnote number 225. And right there, I'm going to actually, this is going to be take 1. For this particular chapter, we're going to do more than one take, which we're in chapter 14. So I'm going to put 13, 14, take 1, because we're going to finish up 14. And when I come back to you, we're going to find that footnote by Maulana Muhammad, because now it's directing us to go somewhere else in the book. So we're definitely going to do that. So I want you to stay tuned And I want you to be blessed. Have a wonderful rest of the evening. And I will talk with you soon here on Poem Praise 2. All right. Until next time, I want you to be blessed. And later, y'all.